Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to 10 Minutes with Kuhle, where we don't do safe, we do real. I'm Kuhle Masako, and today, oh boy, we're diving into the spicy saga of the FF Plus and their latest diplomatic visit to the White House. Yep, that's right. Afrikaners flying high to Washington, DC, shaking hands with Trump's administration like it's the new Avengers team. Now, if you haven't heard yet, the VF Plus or the Freies Front came back from their second trip to the US with what they're calling official preconditions for better South Africa/US relations. And guess what? The US wants the ANC to publicly condemn that old kill the Boer chant. Seriously, they want a clear statement, none that they don't accept such nonsense, which I, for one, agree with. I do think it's high time. I mean, there've only been two parties that have actually condemned this chant, which is one, the DA, and the Vryheids Front, which have condemned the chant. And I think it's high time the ANC are forced to condemn this radical, hateful, nonsensical chant. Now, don't forget, because who wouldn't want a government officially saying, yeah, that chant, not cool, we condemn it, instead of just pretending it's some harmless song from a bygone era. And wait for it. The US also wants farm attacks classified as priority crimes. Well done, Trump. Apparently, in America, they investigate rhino poaching and cash in transit heists faster than a farm attack in South Africa. Imagine. Farmers under attack, and the Hawks are just somewhere having coffee. Probably playing Zuma's greatest hits on repeat, like Kill the Boer, or Slit the Throats of Whites. That's probably the hits that the Hawks are playing. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's also important to remember that it's high time the government is forced to recognize this as a priority crime. I've said this over and over again on various platforms. I've said it on the Mail and Guardian podcast, pardon me, where I stated that if we are going to enter into an issue of numbers, because others argue saying that it's a genocide, others say no, it's not a genocide. And I'm like, those are all semantics. The bottom line is farm murders are happening, and the big bad racist ANC government don't want to acknowledge that, and it's high time we stop that. It is high time we stop that. So here's the kicker. No land expropriation without compensation. The US demands the rule of law and fair market prices. I mean, who would have thought that international diplomacy would boil down to, hey, just don't steal farms without paying? Crazy idea, right? And the cherry on top is US companies want to be exempt from BEE laws because apparently they don't want to play by South Africa's own rules when it comes to race-based legislation. Talk about free markets. I love that. They want to do business here, but with a proper business process, which doesn't involve BEE. Because don't forget, BEE is just another tariff, if we are to be honest. A tariff that Trump should have actually put straight back onto South Africa's ass. Now, sorry, South Africa. We love your markets, just not your equality laws. That's what American companies are basically saying. Now, the ANC camp is fighting out. And they're fighting like crazy. They are actually asking many questions as to what the VF Plus were doing there. And one ANC guy, Dr. Ndo, I've never heard of him, says, who are the VF Plus to tell the ANC what to do? Classic, right? Now, the ANC just thinks that it's them. The ANC thinks that it's their way or the highway. Entering into an agreement with the ANC is one of two things. It's a very dangerous thing, and now hear me out. I've seen this play over and over again. The ANC assume that you are part of their party when you enter into an agreement with them over a working relationship. I mean, VF Plus has got the laissez-faire right to go where it wants to because it's a separate entity. The same way, Andrew Whitfield, a minister that was unfairly fired, had a right to go to the US because he did not go there under the government banner. He went there as a DA member. If you remember, it was part of the team or delegation that went with Emma Powell to try and rectify US relationships instead of congratulating Andrew Whitfield for trying to save South Africa. We've got a corrupt president who sees it right to remove a hard-working minister like Andrew Whitfield. And then we've got the racists. I'm so sorry to say this, and I know a lot of my colored viewers will be angry with me, but we've got the race-baiting Jason McKenzie, who had to say what he had to say yesterday, where he mentioned Andrew Whitfield thinking that he's got some white supremacy or whatever. No, it's not. It's about why you're firing the competent people. Oh, yes, because ignoring such works, you know. Now, the thing is, the ANC loves to ignore brutal farm attacks, turning a blind eye to hateful chants and bulldozing land reform without paying fair prices. Definitely the right way to run a country, right? Here's the real talk. The FF Plus isn't just some fringe party. They are the voice of some Afrikaner farmers, obviously, and a couple of people that don't vote for the DA. They are the backbone of South Africa's agriculture. Well, when I say they are the backbone, I'm referring to their constituents are the backbone of South Africa's agricultural economy. The same people who put food on your table, and yet the ANC and their buddies call them divisive for standing up for your rights. And then the FF Plus goes and meets with Trump officials, the Vice President's office, the National Security Council, Homeland Security, the big leagues. And what do they get? A clear message. If you want better relations, fix these issues. You know, sometimes you have to go over the heads of the usual suspects because the usual suspects are just well stuck in a la-la land. Meanwhile, Cyril Ramaphosa's off on his charm offensive in the US, trying to repair ties. Meanwhile, Trump plays Julius Malema's Kill the Boer chant on a screen like it's the latest viral meme. Bam! No sugarcoating, just raw truth. And the ANC's response? That footage is taken out of context. Of course, it is because when you're caught red-handed singing hate songs, what's better than just saying, nah, you misunderstood us. Meanwhile, political analyst Dr. No wants to balance talk to the EFF too. He says, balance, sure, let's give equal airtime to people calling for farm murders and land grabs without compensation. That'll fix it, right? Look, the problem with South Africa isn't just about race or land or politics. It's about leadership, integrity, and accountability. Stuff that's been sorely lacking for years. And Trump's administration is finally calling it out. They're saying enough with the nonsense. If you want to do business with us, stop the hate, respect property rights, and stop ignoring your farmers. Now, the ANC might think, who is FF Plus to dictate policy, or who is Andrew Whitfield, my minister, by the way, to go to the US without their permission. But let me ask you, who are you to ignore the cries of your own farmers and keep pushing destructive policies that are driving this country into the ground? Let me make this clear. The FF Plus or the DA, they are not the enemies. The enemy is corruption, incompetence, and chaos. And if you think that ignoring reality will make it go away, you're in for a rude awakening. It's funny too. The DA gets all the heat for being a white party, but at least they're standing up for principles, rule of law, property rights, free markets. What does the ANC stand for these days? Empty promises and blaming others for all of South Africa's problems. And hey, America isn't stupid. The US knows the ANC land reform is a recipe for disaster. Trump's right to call it a seizure because that's exactly what it is. But sure, keep calling it reform or transformation. Meanwhile, farmers lose their livelihoods and food prices go up. But don't worry, the ANC will blame YT and America for all their problems. And to wrap it all up, the US isn't dividing South Africa. The ANC's own reckless policies and refusal to address issues are what's tearing this country apart. So maybe, just maybe, listen to parties like the DA and Trump's team for once, because if you don't, you might wake up one day in a country that looks nothing like the South Africa we once knew and more like downtown Mogadishu. And that, my friends, would be the biggest tragedy of all. All right, that's it from me today. Remember, you heard it here first. Stay sharp, stay skeptical, and keep those hot takes coming. Don't forget to sign up for membership. It's as cheap as 20 Rand. It really helps to keep us burning the truth and help us do the great work that we do at our network. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. This has been 10 Minutes with Kuhle, and it's been great to have you. Till next time, bye.